Hey Vivas, and welcome to episode 2 of season 3. We are kicking it off with a bang. Last week we had Miss Shay Reese. We talked a lot about what's going on in her life. And this week I have a very dear friend of mine. I met this beautiful human being. In 2016, we competed together at Miss Gay United States. And she slayed the house down and became one of my closest friends in the entertainment industry. I really, really love her. She is a wonderful human being and a former All-American goddess, and has recently acquired the AAG pageantry system as a whole, which we are going to dig into today. Before we get started with our interview, I want to chat with you about our Viva Entertainer pageant. If you are interested in competing for the Viva Entertainer pageant, all of the information is up on Viva Aaliyah, our Facebook page, up on my Facebook page. You can find it on my Instagram, on our website, AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. And you can also go ahead and buy our merch there. We just launched some new merch. Heads up, I'm competing at National Entertainer of the Year, which is another national system in July. And so if you would like to support that, go ahead and check out our website. But let's dig in, bitches. I want to know what she's drinking. I want to know how sloppy we can get during this interview. No, I'm just kidding. We are going to be ladies, of course. But I'm going to bring to the stage a beautiful soul. Give it up for Nikki Vixxen. Hey, sister.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Aaliyah.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Look at you in your beautiful vaulted ceiling home and just living the beautiful, it looks like log cabin life.
Yes. I'm up north at my cabin right now. So I decided to bring a little bit of drag to the North Shore with me.
Come on, North Shore. And that's still in, you're from Minnesota. Is the cabin still in the state of Minnesota?
I'm about 2 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So
work. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come crash your pad once or twice.
Please do. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome anytime.
I love that. We paid her to say that, of course, just to make sure that the interview kept rolling along. All right. Most important question of the day. What are we drinking? What's in your glass, girl?
I am a pretty basic bitch, and I drink vodka soda. It's Tito's and soda all day, all night.
I love that. I'm usually Tito's and tonic because I like the extra sweetness. But today I made this cocktail especially for you, for interviewing you. This is called the Golden Goddess.
Oh, and what's in the Golden Goddess?
It's a little Absolute grapefruit. Not Absolute, sorry, I don't drink Absolute. What am I talking about? It was from the Absolute website, but it is Kettle One grapefruit. Absolute's just a little too sweet for me. And then it has some cucumber juice in there. How you juice a cucumber, still don't know. Tried it myself, didn't really work. So some lemon juice, and then there's some soda in here. So it's kind of like a little sparkling, grapefruity, cucumbery summer drink.
I love it. That sounds way better than what I'm drinking. And yours looks way fancier, of course, but I would expect nothing less.
Honestly, it's just the glass.
I have to have a straw, so.
Cool. How are you, babe? So, Nikki, we will have comments coming in. I'm sure Dominic said this to you when I was fixing my hair or something. But we will have comments coming in. Eliana Tyler, how are you? Rich Lady Fish tonight.
Tyler.
Yes. Nikki's always Rich Lady Fish. Come on. Have a fab show from Archie. Hi, Archie. All right. And the goddess that is currently reigning on the throne of all of the goddesses, Miss Tiffany T. Hunter.
Hi. Mwah. Thank you for tuning in, Tiffany.
Yes.
Her official duties. She has to watch her boss.
Oh, we put it in the packet now. Please watch Viva. Our viewership is down. No, I'm just kidding. Our viewership is actually really great. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and catching this interview. Is this your first interview about the things we're going to talk about?
It is. It's also my first interview, like a virtual interview ever. So I'm just like popping all the cherries tonight.
Come on, cherry popping. Well, you're popping them. I'm picking them. Let's dish and dig. You are the new owner of AAG.
I am.
What the hell does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for the system? Let's talk.
Okay, well, what it means is that now I get to be the one that helps produce and put on the national pageant every year. And so at AAG, there are 3 divisions. We have All-American Goddess, All-American Goddess at Large, and then All-American Gent. And so when I acquired AAG in January, I have now the distinct pleasure of producing the national pageant and working with the reigning title holders and helping them kind of pass it along to the next group of individuals that will win their respective crowns. And I need to say, and I'm not saying this just because she's on, that she's tuned in, but I would not have been able to do it without the help of Tiffany and Matthew Steele and Monica Moore, the All-American Gent and All-American Goddess at Large, respectively. They have been absolutely fantastic. And as we'll probably talk tonight, this change kind of came out of nowhere to most people. So they have really been good with just kind of rolling with the punches, and they've just been fantastic. And it's been a big learning experience for me. And I'm just honored, honestly, to have the opportunity to do this. And I just, fingers crossed that it all goes off without a hitch come June.
You know, all pageants and all projects have something. And so no matter what goes on, we know that you wear in good hands. One, without the wig and the lashes, you are a business person anyways. So you already have that savviness to you. And you're just a professional person in general. You have such a perfect demeanor and very welcoming, and you put forth such light into the world. And so I know that there is nobody better that could have taken over AAG. When we heard it, I think I was actually talking to Tajma Stetson and Molten Decadence. And when the first announcement came out, that was, and we'll talk about the different announcements you made, but the first one, purposefully, I'm sure, was announcing it, but still a little vague. And then you kept going into more detail as you acquired more and ensured that things were in place. But I think we actually screamed to each other. We were like, "Oh my gosh, yes, of course! What better person to take over this system than Nikki? Like, you're such a wonderful person, and I'm so glad that AAG is in solid hands."
Well, thank you. And just so everyone knows, I paid her to say all of that. So that was my little promotional plug. So thank you. Money well spent. No, I've been involved with AAG since I went and watched in 2016, shortly after you and I met. It was in Dayton, Ohio at the time, and I went. A friend of mine was competing, and she'd asked me to make a little cameo in her talent, and I was like, sure. And I'd always wanted to go. And the second I stepped foot into Mask, where it was being held, I just felt this energy, and I felt this family bond that was AAG, and I knew I wanted to be part of it. I didn't realize I'd be part of it so soon, then going on to compete in 2017 and then winning in 2018. And then not even really getting a year as a former, and now the owner in 2021. So it has been kind of a whirlwind, but AAG has really been my life for the past, 4 or 5 years. So I'm really excited to see what happens from here.
I didn't really think about that. You didn't get time as a former. One, we had the pandemic, and then all of
pandemic. I didn't. What pandemic? I haven't heard about this. No, just kidding.
The Panini Press, the Pizzole, the Pan Dulce, whatever you want to call it. She came around. She gave us a little show during 2020, but you didn't really have your year as a former. And I do have to say, during the pandemic, the title holders that are in place in all systems have done a brilliant job, and they all deserve all of the accolades for what they did. So congratulations to your court. They are wonderful people first, and then they also administered very well during this time. So congratulations for that. But you, I didn't even think about that. You didn't get your time to like,
and that's, and that's okay because, everything happens for a reason. That's the way I kind of live my life. Is everything happens for a reason. And it was really incredible being able to step down and crown one of my best friends, Tiffany T. Hunter. And that's not something that you get to do every single day. So that was pretty incredible. And I just knew she was going to be incredible in the rain. So I just felt this weight off my shoulders because, I think as title holders, we really work to kind of build a legacy. And so I worked really hard, and I've never reigned nationally before. It was an incredible experience and I loved it. But also at the end, I was very looking forward to being done and being able to kind of check out for a couple months maybe. And I just knew that Tiffany was going to be able to pick up right where I left off. And she did just that. And we had then our gent and at-large divisions held in March of 2020, literally the week before the world shut down. So Matthew and Monica were crowned, and then the pandemic hit and everything shut down and we didn't know what was what. And, then it was only going to be a couple of months. And then here we are a year later and we're still trying to navigate it. So they've really been good with rolling with the punches. And yes, I agree with you. All the title holders that have had to reign, whether it's whatever system it is, they have really had a big job to keep the attention going and keep the momentum going, even without prelims and without pageants and shows. It's a whole new world for all of us.
Yeah, I'm very excited everybody says we're going to get back to the normal, but I think it's going to be a new norm. We're going to live life a little differently. We're going to figure things out differently. We're going to have to, there's going to be the people who were vaccinated or still waiting to get vaccinated. There's going to be some people I'm sure don't want to get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated if you can. But we're going to have to figure all of this out as a former, as a pageant owner, as all of these, as prelim owners. It's just going to be a lot of different things. Agreed. The entire AG court has been amazing. Stephen Edward.
Oh, Stephen, hi. You'll be able to see him at National. Stephen is one of our trusted leaders for putting on our pageants. So he is the man behind the scenes that makes it look so easy. And Evan, one of our promoters from Kansas AAG.
Look at this.
Hi, Evan. Look at that.
You did good with your Desi. Love you, babe. Stephen is actually my promoter for EOY.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I saw it. Yes. Oh, I love Stephen.
I'm representing Missouri in Entertainer of the Year. So I get to see him in April, thankfully. All right. So you've purchased, you were a former, you kind of started to have the end of your reign and then didn't. And then purchased the pageant. Was there one single thing that made you purchase the pageant? Had you been thinking about it for a while? What was this snowball that?
Yeah, it's it happened a little bit sooner than I was probably expecting. But I had always made it known to Scott and the board that I was interested, that whenever Scott was done, that I would love to, I wanted to have that conversation, that I wanted to take on. Because again, I just felt this connection with AAG and I just loved it. And what Scott and Lauren and the board and the incredible list of formers have built was incredible. So it was already exciting to be a part of it as, reigning as AAG in 2018, but then it was a huge new responsibility to take over as the owner. And again, as I mentioned, it just happened so fast that I wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of everyone, the formers, the promoters, the board of directors. Everyone really came out of the woodwork and really threw their support behind the change and the direction that we wanted to take things. And that was a very exciting moment. And as I mentioned in the initial announcement, you know, pageantry is all about learning and growing. And so as a system, we have to learn and grow. And so there were critiques from the community, there were critiques from people who have competed, critiques from promoters, performers, and I've really been spending the last few months listening to that and trying to improve upon that. And, you know, again, learn and grow and repeat, learn and grow and repeat.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do.
I can say I have never seen somebody so actionable in this community that is a large pageant promoter, because AAG is you know, we always say there's like there's the big four in the pageantry world, but I've heard many a times, and I've said it myself because I truly believe this, that there is a big five, and AAG is one of those, up there with, you know, able to be up there with Continental and US of A and Entertainer of the Year and Miss Gay America, because there's something different about it. There's so many interesting things. There's been some wonderful title holders, and the amount of contestants and the level of contestants that AAG draws in has just been phenomenal. But you have done such a great job of navigating the criticism, the questions, the everything that came out of, I mean, one day you're the owner and the next day you're taking on everything that had come before you, and or probably the same day, and all of this stuff that's continuing to build. We want this question answer. We want that question answer. We want all of these things to happen. And you acted so quickly and so professionally and put it out in a way that made sense and that explained everything. So honestly, Nikki did not pay me to say this part, even if she says so. Not disclaimer from Viva Aaliyah. We are not, she did not pay me to say this part, but I truly was like, wow, this is the communication that has been lacking in our community as a whole when it comes to pageantry. And you took that and you did it eloquently and professionally. So kudos to you. But what was that like for you?
You know, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not good at biting my tongue, and I don't hold back. You know where you stand with me. And so it was really hard in the beginning. I will say that first day when we made the announcement, I sat on Facebook and on phone calls for about 12 hours straight, responding to messages, responding to comments, being tagged in things. And I really wanted to be present. I wanted to be, you know, connected. And I didn't want, we know how social media, things can just get buried. And so if I don't respond to this comment, or I'm not going to be able to find that post again. I'm not going to be able to do that. And so I spent a long, very long day powered by my favorite other drink, Diet Coke. And I just sat and responded to all these messages. And I just had to continue to remind myself that it wasn't my place to speak, it was my place to listen. And so I needed to hear what the concerns were. And in my professional career, anytime there's a change of the guard, so to speak, people come out of the woodwork because there's a new set of ears for them to air their concerns. And I just needed to listen to those, and I did not want to be defensive. And I learned a lot. I learned more about the history and some of the hurt that has happened, and the positives too. And overwhelmingly, the response was positive. And that's the other thing I had to remind myself of, was that people are excited for this change. And I knew that because of the world we live in 2 days, this was going to be old news. It was going to be like, oh yeah, AAG, yeah, Nikki owns AAG, whatever. What's the big story today? Type thing. We live in a society now where there's so much, everything is breaking news, that again, I knew if I didn't respond to it, then it was going to get lost. And I didn't want people to feel like they weren't being heard. So it was a blur. I can summarize all of that rambling as a blur. It was a very long day, but it was well worth it.
we have so many keyboard warriors in our community that just love to. They've most of them have probably never competed. They probably don't even do drag, and they love to voice their opinion. And so kudos to you for being able to deal with all of that. And like I said, I was very impressed and very happy. And I had already been considering AAG in my path, but it solidified that for me. You will see me in your pageant one day, and I will be there, bells and whistles on, and probably spending way too much money. But
that's what pageantry is all about.
That is what pageantry is all about, spending all of our money. For everybody listening out there who doesn't know what AAG is, Nikki, can you give us a kind of an overview of what All-American Goddess, All-American Gent, what makes the pageant special and different from other pageants, and what it is overall?
So AAG, I think, is one of the harder pageants to compete in, because I think the category that sets it apart is creative costume. You know, we have your typical pageant, we have your talent, your interview, on-stage question, and for the gent, it's after six attire, formal wear categories. So all of that is the same. What sets it apart is our creative costume. And that category really is where people kind of get to step out of their comfort zone and do something maybe that they wouldn't do. Me, myself, I'm not a creative person. I don't try new things with makeup. I wear the same hair all the time because it's what works, and I like the way I look in it. And so doing something different that, you know, kind of forces you to maybe be a little uncomfortable, I think is good, because again, it's about that learning and growing. And so that's the big difference with AAG, is that I think it creates a really well-rounded competitor, that you have to be, you know, beautiful and poised in your formal wear categories. You have to be well-spoken in interview and on-stage question. You have to be entertaining in your talent, but then you also have to be creative, which I know, you know, for you going to EOY, creativity is a huge part of the categories within EOY, and that's what they really want to see. And so AAG is kind of similar. It's kind of this hybrid, this kind of melting pot of the different types of entertainers that are out there. And I think that's what has helped with the list of formers. I mean, you look at the formers that in the different divisions, and they are all seasoned, well-respected entertainers in the community that have, you know, many have won multiple titles and, you know, been on RuPaul's Drag Race. And it's really incredible. And so it was really humbling for me to be like, when that banner that I know you guys had posted earlier of all the formers, when my photo got added to that, I remember getting goosebumps, because I was like, I'm in a photo with these people that I have looked up to and idolized since I started doing drag. So it was really, it's pretty incredible.
You're right in front next to Adriana.
I sure am. I reigned with that bitch for a year. She is crazy.
Isn't she, though? I love her to death.
Oh, she was my personal punching bag, and she will admit to that she was just such an easy target for me to pick on. Me and Jeffrey had a great time with her. I don't think she had as much fun with us, but we had a lot of fun with her.
She did. She loves everybody, and I know she loved you too, very, very much. We talked about her AAG reign quite a bit, so
she's awesome.
Yeah, the cast of people within AAG is beyond phenomenal. You really have a legacy, and you rightfully so are a part of that. So I can feel that, like when you know you're a part of something, that those goosebumps, especially when you that was your first national title, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, wow, what a group of people to join for your first time.
Yes. Like I said, I love and respect all of them. And so it was, you know, it was kind of my own little celebrity moment. You know, in our community, we are in the public spotlight all the time. And so to then have that added responsibility, and it was fantastic. I wish more people honestly wanted to compete in pageants. I wish people weren't scared of them. I think everybody should compete in pageants because it is such a, you learn and you grow as a person, as an entertainer. It's everything. And that's one of our big challenges as, you know, now with me as owner of AAG is, you know, what can we do to inspire the newer generations of entertainers to want to compete in pageants, especially in the day and age of Drag Race.
Yep, definitely. I've heard that quite a bit. And
oh, hi, Tio.
Ah, hi.
Tio, are my eyes dim enough for you?
Going to type in all caps because Nikki loves it from Brittany Sebastian.
I have quite a few pet peeves.
Topher Prather. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
So when I text you from now on, Brian did it too. Your name is in all caps.
I know. And I can actually hear, that's just how Brian talks. Anyone who knows Brian just knows. That was Brian whispering.
So when I text you from now on, I should all caps?
Yeah, that's great, Grandma.
Yeah, great. That's great, Grandma. I love that. We gave a glimpse into this, but I'm going to ask you the question that I'm sure everybody is wondering. There was drama before you took over. And I'm sure there are things you are able to say and things you are not able to say. And I'm going to follow your lead on this. One, what was it like dealing with the drama? Because you had the questions afterwards, but while acquiring the pageant, what was it like dealing with that drama? And how are you doing now with everything that went on? We all saw what went on. We don't need to go into details. You don't need to explain in detail of what happened. And if you want to know, Facebook is great. Go on Facebook. It's all there. But we'll ask the questions. How did you deal with that while acquiring the pageant, and how are you still coming out of it now?
So, yeah, as you mentioned, I'll just touch on the fact that, and I kind of mentioned too, we live in such a connected society now where everything that we say and do is seen, whether we even realize that someone has seen it. And it's really kind of a lesson, I guess, in think before you speak. You know, we learn that kind of in elementary school. And I think, as you kind of even use the term keyboard warriors, there's some weird security that comes from sitting at a computer and being able to say what you want to say versus if you were standing face to face with someone. And I think a lot of that, it gives a false sense of security, but I think a lot of it also is lost in translation. You can't read the tone. You don't know if someone's being sarcastic, and so it's really hard. And I think that hurts in general, our communication and the fact that we communicate through social media. And so, as everyone knows, there was obviously things that happen on social media, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, and everyone is entitled to express their thoughts and feelings. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's free from any consequence. And so, and other people are then allowed to chime in with their thoughts and their feelings. And that's exactly what happens on a day-to-day basis on social media, which is why I really don't love social media, and why I try and post funny things, a pet peeve of mine. I really try and keep it light because I don't want to get caught up. And I'm guilty of it too. Trust me, I've had plenty of dramatic explosions and fights and things all in the public eye on social media. And it's easy for it to happen. And in the moment, it seems like the right thing to do. And then you step away from the computer and you're like, oh, that's not going to look good. So the number of times I see somebody that will be like, the number of posts I type out and then just delete, and it just feels good to even type it out. And so that's my lesson to everyone. Type it out. Maybe make the post private that only you can see it, or send it to yourself in a text message if it makes you feel better. But we can see, and it's not just in our community. I mean, it's politicians, it's leaders, it's CEOs. Everything that we say and do is public. And it's out there, and a tweet from 10 years ago can come back to haunt you. So it's really like, if I wouldn't say it to someone's face, why am I going to post it online? So
yeah,
that's my little lesson. But going back to your initial question, because, I love to get on a tangent, Mitch. We're down a road and in a fork and
rabbit hole, bro. Let's do it.
Yeah. Again, it was back to everything happened faster than I would have liked. Mm-hmm. But as I said, everything happens for a reason. And so this was how it was supposed to happen. And it's a great responsibility, but it is also a great honor to take this on at this time. And, just add into the fact of the pandemic and all of that. There's just a lot of different things that we're trying to juggle in a short period of time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very well said. Again, Nikki Vixxen for president.
Ooh, no, I'm sure. I guarantee there's some old posts, some Grindr profiles, things like that will prevent me from ever being elected to office. But
Nikki Vixxen's next business venture is Grindr. You heard it here first.
A fun fact: I met my husband on Grindr.
Who didn't? No, I'm just kidding. I met mine at Whole Foods, so kind of the same thing.
Wow. Yeah. Pretentious and expensive.
Yeah. But when actually, I wanted to say something about keyboard warriors and people posting drama that I thought of while you were speaking. The only person I've never, ever in my life, and maybe, this person better than me, but the only person I've ever seen in my entire life have any drama online or post any drama is Tiffany G. Hunter. If you want somebody to look up to on social media, follow her. Maybe she has some tips and tricks. Tiffany should teach classes. There we go. There's you and Tiff together.
Yes.
But it's always so amazing to me. I think I talk about it probably all the time with Tajma and Moulton when we're chatting. One, we love the both of you, and we talk about the two of you all the time and how we would love to be in your when you're out and about or when you're vacationing together. We're like, we wish we were with those two.
It's always a good time. Unless you wear a blazer. Don't wear a blazer.
Don't wear a blazer.
Don't wear a blazer. Just trust me on that. We don't need to go any further. Just don't wear a blazer. And I guarantee Tiffany's probably texting me right now about the blazer.
But I think your advice to people, which is like, if you need to send it to yourself, write yourself an email, send yourself a text message. But like, we've had enough of the drama out there. Mm-hmm. All right. we're going to take a quick break, which means Nikki and I get to refill our glasses. You're going to learn a little bit about the Viva Entertainer pageant, and I'm going to refill my glass, and we'll see you back here in just a second. Hey Vivas, we have the Viva Entertainer pageant coming up on May 15th, 2021 in season 3 of Viva Aaliyah. We want all entertainers from coast to coast and all around the world to enter. If you think you have what it takes, we're not just looking for one type of entertainer. You can be a Miss, a Mr., MI, FI, or anything in between. Go ahead and email us at production@AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. That's production@AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. Once again, if you think you have what it takes, we have our competition on May 15th, 2021, right on Viva Aaliyah. It'll be a show to remember. Crown and jewelry for the Viva Entertainer 2021 pageant will be provided by Fierce Drag Jewels, one of the ongoing sponsors of Viva Aaliyah. And we are back with my sister, Nikki Vixxen. A little bit about the Viva Entertainer pageant. Once again, if you want to check that out, you can go to our website. That is AaliyahMartinezQueen.com, and there's information there for you. But we are going to jump back into the mix. We're talking about AAG pageants. We're talking about Nikki. We're talking about our cocktails. how my hair is stuck to my earring right now, the glue on my earring, and that's fun. We're talking about All right, back to our questions. Most systems have had prelims during the have not had prelims during the pandemic. AAG has been able to do it, and from what I've seen, I haven't been to one, but they have been very responsibly held. You have been able to have contestants wear masks, which other systems that have had pageants or prelims did not always. How did you come up with these processes? How are you continuing to carry them out? And what prompted the decision, and how involved were you with the promoters and title holders to continue this out, rolling along?
So this was a conversation that I had with the court, and I really think it was probably Tiffany that kind of had spearheaded it, in the fact that every state had different restrictions. And so one state maybe required masks at all times where another didn't. And so it was really putting contestants kind of in the mix of, well, what do I need to do? What don't I need to do? And same with the title holders. And so that's why we decided to create a policy that was just going to be, it doesn't matter if there are no masks, and there it is, that mask policy, that this was the AAG. If you're at an AAG function, it doesn't matter if the bar that it's being held at normally doesn't require masks. Because it's an AAG function, we are going to require masks. And judges are instructed that, if a contestant wants to wear, even if it's just them on stage, if they want to leave their mask on, the judges cannot take points off for that. They need to, judge around that, if you will. And, and it was just a new layer of responsibility for the title holders, because it's really the title holders and the promoters that are having to enforce this. But from what I've seen from the prelims that I've gone to and what I've heard, there's been no pushback. There's been, people understand and they appreciate that, we're trying to operate as safe as possible, because there's a number of people that are looking to qualify and wanting to compete and wanting to get to a prelim. And we were struggling with, do we delay, or do we try and find a way to still hold prelims responsibly? And not all of our promoters are able to hold prelims, and, based on state restrictions. And, here in Minnesota, our bars still have a curfew of 11 o'clock. Not all of our nightclubs are even open because it's just not profitable for them. So it's really been a hit or miss sort of thing. So we're very fortunate and very thankful for the promoters who have charged forward and been able to do that. And, we're still appreciative of those promoters and understanding that they're still part of our family. And we know that 2021 and beyond, things will be a lot different, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to the normal that we keep talking about.
Whatever that may be.
Yeah, exactly.
It's it's such an interesting thing to even think about. I mean, EOY is all wow, I just lost my train of thought in the middle of what I was saying. EOY is all representatives this year. There we go. And so I'm representing a title. I'm not necessarily Missouri Entertainer of the Year FI. I am Missouri representative for the FI division at Entertainer of the Year. So everybody's doing something a little bit different, but I have to say it gave us, watching that, gave me hope even for pageantry, and seeing that Tiffany was able to crown people in her mask and shield, and Monica was out there, and Matthew was out there doing the same thing. And it was very empowering to see that. So, I mean, really kudos to the entire court and your formers and everybody that was involved with it, and all of your promoters that were able to abide by those rules and ensure that they were in place when their competitions were going on. It really helped a lot to see that mentally, when you're somebody who, I mean, like I said, we spend a ton of money to go to these things, and my EOI package has been sitting on hold for almost 2.5 years. And now I finally get to go in July. So if I were competing for AAG at that time, I would have been able to push that package forward and continue to do what I needed to do. So I'm sure a lot of your contestants had that mental health portion of it too, to be able to continue on.
Yeah, and we offered for contestants that had qualified pre-COVID that, we realized that there are numerous implications of what this pandemic has created, whether it's financial, health, personal, whatever it may be. So people who had qualified and, technically under contract, as let's say Minnesota AAG, to go to nationals, they have an out. They do not have to go to nationals because of this. A lot of our contestants are, entertaining is a big part of their income, and with bars shut down and no shows and things, they've lost a big chunk of their income, and therefore we can't expect them to be able to present and put their best foot forward on a national stage. And so we understand that, but we've actually had quite a few contestants who, even with that, have said, no, I'm still going to go, even if it means I'm going to do a solo talent and I'm going to repeat a gown and whatever. I still want to go because I still want the experience. I still want to, even if I don't make the top 12, whatever it may be, I still went and I got to have time with my friends, and from your years in competing, the people that you bond with are the people that you competed with. And you and me, look at the people that you competed with, and the people that I competed with, several are still competing within AAG, and the people I met during my reign, and you build those connections. And so they want that. They miss that. It's not even necessarily about what they're putting on stage. It's about belonging to something. And especially in this pandemic, people are looking for that connection. And so we're very excited to have, whether it's 5 contestants per division or 50 contestants per division, I will be so happy to have whoever is there and see all the smiling faces and see the people in the audience, and really be able to let Tiffany, relieve Tiffany of her duties now after 2 years. And some of the national title holders are going to be going into 3 years.
I know.
Wow. From reigning, it's exhausting. It is exhausting. And so towards the end, and, Tiffany only had 3 months left. She had March as our Genton, and then June would have been her step down. And so everything happened. And so we were all gearing up. Everything was in motion for her to step down. And then everything happened. And I was like, well, it looks like you're on for another year. So poor girl.
You like that. Olivia Ray Taylor, so incredibly honored to be competing for a system that has gone above and beyond to keep pageantry alive while keeping everyone safe. AAG is truly leading the way. This is also going to be her answer in onstage Q&A.
Even if it is, what's your favorite color and why? That's her answer.
This is going to be the answer. We also had another contestant comment in before that, Jonathan Sandridge. Yes. So I want to make sure that we're honoring each person. That
I feel like we have the whole AAG crew here. Thank you guys.
I love that.
Yeah, and I apologize. I am constantly staring at the fact that I have zero light shining on me now that the sun went down. So my eyes are just black dots, which anyone who knows me, all I do is put black in my eye anyway. But
we love a good smoky eye. You're just extra smoky. Tio said you look lovely.
Oh, perfect. I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I can't get any better than this. Tio thinks I look lovely.
I know, seriously. When Tio says it, then it's definitely true. I've shot with him twice, and he complimented my makeup, and I was like, we're good.
We're good. I can go ahead and, I'm a happy woman. Yeah, he was just in Minneapolis, was it last week or the week before? And he kept telling me, I think I did 9 or 10 looks. And he just kept, he's like, you got one more look. You got one more look. Come on, you can do it. And I'd been in drag since like 8 a.m. And I was like, I'm done. It's 5. I need to go home. I need to let my dogs out. And he was like, you can do one more look for me. And I was like, ugh.
You need to hit Taco John's up.
Exactly. Potato Olays. Mm-mm. They do a body good.
I've never had Taco John's, but I need to go with you because you seem to know what to get there.
Yeah, the best thing. I mean, it's like a Taco Bell, but they have these delicious, delicious little tater tots that are seasoned with the seasoning, and it just fills the holes in your heart. It just makes you feel complete.
So those tater tots and a Diet Coke in your set.
It's all you need in life, really.
You heard it here, and that's our interview. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So you are a former All-American Goddess. We said this. I want to talk about you a little bit more. We talked about AAG. We're still going to sprinkle it into the last 3 questions. But what were some of your most memorable moments of your reign? And how was it reigning for your first time?
So yes. I learned a lot during my reign. And one of the things that I want to say is that my first year competing for AAG, I was fortunate enough to place first runner up. And to be this close to winning and then not win, everyone was thinking that I was going to be disappointed or whatever. And I was so excited and elated at the fact that had happened. And I'm thankful that I didn't win until the next year because I learned so much more. I would not have been able to reign the way that I reigned or know the things that I knew had I won on my first try. And so I think that's really important for anyone who's competing for a pageant is you need to know your system. And I wouldn't have known half of the promoters. I wouldn't have known anything. So it was really helpful for me to be able to go into my first prelim knowing a lot more about the system and knowing what to expect. But some of the most memorable moments of my reign, I will say, involved vodka. Anyone who was with me, I was known as the crazy. I think probably one of my favorite memories is a video of me singing Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads in the Uber back to the hotel with Jeffrey. That was a highlight. That was at our New Mexico prelim. They got us good at that prelim.
Jeffrey Kelly sent that clip to me.
It came on the radio, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's my jam!"
No, it was actually your Down song, right?
Yeah, it was. That was my stepdad. Yep, that was the beginning of it. No, but really, I mean, I had a lot of fun, and that was the great part. But I met so many great people. I always told people, and it sounds so corny, but I'm like, when you go into a pageant, whether it's a prelim or a national, and you're going in to win, I think you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you go in to learn and to grow and make new friends and improve, and you leave, even if you got second from last, but if you made new friends and you had those connections and you learned something about the system and you could take those judges' critiques, then you won. You won something. And that pageantry is not always about winning. You don't need the crown or the title to have stepped away from a pageant a winner. And so I met a lot of great people during my reign, promoters, contestants, formers, and those are the highlights. Those are the people that's what makes it. You travel all around the country for a year, and then all of a sudden it's all done, and then you're like, well, and then you miss it. In the moment, you're like, I'm so ready to be done with this, and then it's all done, and you're like, it's been 2 months, and I haven't been on an airplane. I haven't been in a city where I wake up and be like, wait, where am I again today? So it was just such a blur, and it was so fantastic. And so now I'm so excited to be in a position where I get to see everyone else experience that and, help them make sure that their year is just as memorable.
I love that. I will say one of my memories from your reign was us being able to do a national walk together at EOY. That was so much fun.
Yes.
But I couldn't agree with you more. You have to go into pageantry to actually win in pageantry. You have to know that you're only there to beat yourself, but you're there to make and when I say beat yourself, be better than you were before, and that's beating yourself. But you have to make the friends and the family, and the girls that are in the corner and don't talk to anybody are the ones that are, even if they take home a crown, they're not going to be as successful. They don't have the friends to promote and to come back and all of that. So I couldn't agree with you more. You are still doing drag. Oh, yes. There's the moment.
It's a moment. Yeah, I really didn't think. I've told this story a million times, but we're going to tell it 1,000,001. During the crowning video, Jasmine International and I were standing there, and I was convinced that Jasmine had won. And I didn't see any of the pageant, but Jasmine had won interview. I had won evening gown. I knew how the scores worked out for interview. Anyway, I was like, okay, this is Jasmine's year, and that's okay. And I was so excited for her. And so depending on the video that you see, but I'm holding her hands and I'm telling her, are you ready for this, mama? Are you ready? I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited for you. And Celeste, who was emceeing, was like, now I'm going to go ahead and announce our first runner-up, make sure we give them their due. And I'm sitting there, I was like, okay. I was like getting ready to pull my hands away, knowing that it was going to be me. And then it was, your first runner-up is Jasmine International. And I wasn't expecting it. I was fully expecting to place second, and I was fully okay with that. And I was I truly kind of blacked out. I don't remember any of it. I remember Jose kind of coming in because I was just kind of like standing there screaming in the center of the stage, and it was a blur after that. So
there it is. Yes.
Yes, and look at that. So Monica Moore, she is now our reigning All-American Goddess at Large. We have beautiful Amy DeMilo, and then Cassandra Hilton. She is returning this year to compete. I can't stand her because she's so beautiful. She is just really stunning. I would trip her just for the fun of it because she's just so pretty. It's not fair. It's not fair for her to be that pretty.
After she wins, you're technically her boss. So go ahead, trip her. All right. So you're still a queen. You're still doing drag. You are still, you actually are a title holder currently. You have a title, and right?
I do, but the bar is closed. So it'll be my first time having a title and then never being able to step out. Forever. I'm forever. I'm Miss Lush forever. And I'll drink to that.
How are you going to balance the Nikki Vixxen life with the pageant owner life?
So the reality is, Nikki for me has always been a business. And I actually saw this on Facebook the other day, and where there was kind of this debate going around where drag is a business. And drag really is a business, and there are different business models. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm not this incredible entertainer who's pulling out all these crazy looks and packing the house with people flocking in to see me. I've always been a business person in the sense that I enjoy doing drag, and I do drag enough to kind of fill the coffers to continue doing drag. And so owning AAG and promoting AAG is just another business venture. So they really are going to kind of exist side by side. I do look forward to the day when AAG is really kind of on autopilot, so to speak, and is more, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but because it's not that it's not running well, but that it just kind of runs itself in the sense that I can maybe step back just a little bit, and I would really love, I already miss competing. That's going to be the big thing that seeing you announce that you're going to EOI and, working with these contestants as they're getting ready for AAG, I miss it. It is so addicting. And so I know I'm going to want to get back on the stage and get back to competing. And so, but my primary focus right now is ensuring the health and success of the AAG pageantry system.
Yeah. If you miss spending that money, I am more than happy to take that burden away from you.
Yeah, just go ahead. I'll just go ahead and send me those invoices. I'll go ahead and write those checks out for you, and I'll just live vicariously through everyone else.
We all heard it here first. This will also be on podcasts, so this would not be a full interview with Nikki Vixxen without her talking about food at some point. The life of Nikki is being able to eat almost anything and still being as gorgeously thin as you are.
Anthony Simmons, our Midwest AAG promoter. He's going to be at Miss Glamorous on Monday. I'm so looking forward to it.
Spill it all from Crystal Bell. Yes.
Crystal Bell. Look at all these people.
Look at all these. You said that I can follow you and hopefully next year compete. Yes. Oh, there we go. Another contestant.
We would love to have you. Absolutely love to have you.
You can reach out to Nikki directly at. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me just give my phone number, or I'll give you the address to the cabin.
We're going to be scrolling Nikki's phone number at the bottom of the screen after the interview while I do the closeout. So please feel free to text her. All caps.
At 3 a.m., please. All caps.
All caps. She really loves to receive things between the hours of 2:30 and 6 a.m. That's probably the best time.
Yeah. One thing I've learned during the pandemic is that I'm actually a little bit of a homebody, and I love going to bed at about 9:30. So I hope the one thing that comes out of the pandemic is that maybe, just maybe, and this could just be my old lady inside of me speaking, is that shows start a little bit earlier than like 11 o'clock. Can we have shows, starting at like 7 or 8? I'm good with that.
I mean, I'm watching Dominic react to this, and he's going, "Yes, please."
So then I can still be in bed and whatever, and go to work the next day just fine, and not be strolling in at 3 a.m. and have to be up 4 hours later.
I've learned that I'm an insomniac during this time, and that I just don't sleep at all. So I have been going to bed, no lie, around 4 a.m. and waking up still between while I've been off of work, I've been waking up between 10 and 11 recently. Before that, I was waking up at 1 p.m. when I first got let go from my job. I decided, we need to sleep every now and then. All right. So, last question for you, loaded one. What is coming up for you, and what is coming up for AAG? Also, within that, if you can tell us about nationals and when they are and how people can find out about it.
Absolutely. So coming up for me is absolutely nothing. But coming up for AAG, we have a lot of exciting things. So we do have nationals coming up, but before I get to that, we do have a new prelim that we just announced in El Paso, Texas. So if anybody is tuning in from Texas or looking for a prelim to qualify, we will be holding an All-American Goddess, an All-American Goddess at Large prelim. That's coming up April 23rd. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's April 23rd. There it is. There it is. Lone Star State, All-American Goddess and All-American Goddess at Large. This is a brand new promoter. I've been working with him. He's fantastic. So this is one of those things, AAG, we've been holding prelims, and we've even managed to sell new prelims in the middle of a pandemic. So we're very, very fortunate for that. But yes, nationals is right around the corner. We will be holding nationals over a course of 4 days for all 3 divisions. Our All-American Goddess at Large will be on June 17th. That is a Thursday. And it is one-night competition. So all the contestants will compete in all of their categories, and a new winner will be crowned that evening. June 18th will be the All-American Gent. Same format. They'll all compete in all their categories, and a new winner crowned. And then June 19th and 20th will be the All-American Goddess division, where we will have a prelim night on the 19th and then final night on the 20th. And all of this is taking place at the beautiful, I am so excited to have this, the beautiful C2 event venue in Louisville, same venue that EOI is held at. The staff there, the owners, everybody has just been so fantastic. And it's beautiful. I'm so excited to see these gowns and these costumes and these talents on that stage. I remember when we did our walk at EOI, and I joked when I just went and toured it a couple weeks ago. I was like, I remember being announced out, and I just felt like I was walking for a mile, and I hadn't even hit the center stage. It's so big and so beautiful. And regardless what's happening right now, everything we're geared up for, maintaining 6 feet social distancing. No, we're only going to be selling tables, no more than 4 people at a table. Obviously, as things change and hopefully everyone goes and gets their vaccine, we may be able to loosen that up and add some more tables or expand that. But the C2 has been very focused also on everyone's safety during this, which has been fantastic that they're taking that serious as well. So we're very excited about it. Every day I'm probably doing something, and so we'll be releasing tickets and the seating chart here probably no later than Monday is my goal. Don't quote me on that, but
wonderful. Quote her on that. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Monday at 2 a.m. I'll be texting you all caps. I need my tickets. No, I'm kidding. Will we be seeing Nikki Vixxen entertaining there, or is this your year to be behind the scenes? What's going to be happening there?
So I will be there. I will be tipping around, hopefully just tipping around. I will perform. The goal is that we'll just have formers of each division perform on their respective evenings. So at-large formers that are in the building will perform. Of course, if we have a lot of people, we may need to spread them out. It all just depends on people's comfort in traveling and coming back as a former in the middle of a pandemic. Hopefully it's not in the middle, towards the end of a pandemic come June. But I am looking forward to performing my first number as a former All-American Goddess at an All-American Goddess final night come June 20th. So I plan to be there in face 3 of the 4 nights, maybe all 4. We'll see.
Well, you have basically the entire All-American AAG staff, I should say, tuning in right now. So they can hold me to this. If you need anything, I'm there for you. I will pull a curtain. I will announce something. I will take over your duties for the 5 minutes you're on stage. Whatever you need, I am here for you. Let me know. I would love to come in. I plan on being there, but I would love to be there helping out as well. So I am here for you. Vivas, let's give it up for the talented, the beautiful, the charming, the wonderful, my dear sister, Nikki Vixxen, new owner of AAG Pageants, taking it above and beyond into the next level. I cannot wait to see where the system goes. And I guarantee that the turnout in contestants will be just as good as any other year, because you have done such a wonderful job and your court has done such an amazing job. Shout out to, yes, aagpageantry.com. You can check out if you are an interested contestant. Also, you can hit up their current title holders. That is Tiffany Hunter, Matthew Steele, and Monica Moore in their respective divisions. Of course, happy to help out. I love you all, and I will chat with you backstage in just a second. I'm just going to close out the show.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody.
All right, Vivas, thank you for tuning in today. This has been a wonderful interview. I am so happy to chat with sisters always, and this sister has been somebody who has been not just a sister, but has been an inspiration to me. I love her. She's wonderful. So thank you for tuning in for Nikki Vixxen. For all of our podcast listeners out there, if you would like to tune into one of our episodes and see what's going on, they're always available on our YouTube channel. You can find that on our website. That is AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. That is www.AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. Aaliyah is AALIYAH. And we will see you on the next episode. I believe I uploaded who is on next week. So before we play our outro, Dominic, you can take it from here. Coming up next week on Viva Aaliyah, we'll be sitting down with co-founder of Boylesque New York City, Twinkie Boots. Can't wait to see you there.